I'm going to just do some introductions. So the way that I'm running the program this evening, if you saw the email that I sent later, we're going to do just my welcome and introductions to start. Then I'm going to ask Sheli some questions. Her story is really incredible to hear and understand how she discovered Medical Qi Gong and how she's been able to apply it in her own life. Really amazing when you understand the true healing ability that the body has when we know how to tap into it. And then we are going to have a wonderful demonstration from Sheli, which we are all going to participate in. Please don't feel pressured if you don't want to. You can also, have it on the recording and you'll be able to do it in your own time, in your own space with the recording. I'm very grateful to Sheli because she's given me free access to her subscription for the last week, and I've been playing around with Qigong as well. And when I can actually feel the electricity in my fingers, I get so excited. So I'm hoping that all of you will get a little bit of a feeling of it tonight. I know sometimes it can take time to feel that. So that's the 20-minute demonstration. And then we're going to do questions and answers at the end. And I know that sometimes people get very shy. They don't always want to ask questions in front of others, but please, don't feel that inhibition. Please open your microphone, ask questions, get involved, because really this is an incredible platform for you to be able to experience and get an understanding of whether this can actually be beneficial for you in your own life. And as we go through tonight, if you've got any questions or any comments, please put them in the chat. And as Sheli's speaking, I will also just try and look through and make sure that we address all of those by the end of the evening. So first of all, welcome everybody. Our webinar tonight is called Healing from the Inside Out, and it was a very easy title for me to decide on. To those of you who don't know me, my name is Justine Friedman. I am originally from Johannesburg, South Africa, and I see we have quite a few ex-South Africans on the call. I am now living in Meridians in Israel, and I've been here about 4.5 years. And I am so excited that I've extended my practice. So I've worked as a clinical dietitian, I'm giving away my age, for over 24 years now. And when I first started, it was very much standard dietetic practice, giving people diets to lose weight, helping people with lowering cholesterol and diabetes. And over the years, I really have transformed the way that I practice, because I truly believe that we are more than just what we eat. We are more than just the lives that we lead. There is so much more depth to our experiences and the way that we think about food and think about our lives and the interactions that we have around food and around weight as women really informs how we approach food. So for me, doing these free webinars is always incredibly interesting, and I try and get very like a variety of different guests on so that we can hear as much as possible and learn as much as possible. But for me, the mindset component is incredibly important, breaking away from the strict dieting approach, which we know doesn't work. We rebound from it all the time, and rather be able to open ourselves to understanding ourselves holistically, the whole body, and how different modalities can blend together for us to really lead the most well thriving lives. And that's what I'm hoping to give you over today. Sheli, I know from South Africa, and in fact, she has been wanting to speak to me for so long, and I'm so glad that we finally got it together. There were a few hurdles in the way of us finally bringing this evening together. And when she started explaining to me how her life significantly changed from the time that she discovered Medical Qi Gong and started implementing it, I was blown away, because I think we all have ailments, sometimes bigger than others, that we deal with in our lives. And, it's so easy to take a pill. It's so easy to Google something and see what the latest remedy is. Or, the big talk at the moment, and I have nothing against it when it's used correctly, all the GLP-1 drugs at the moment for weight loss and for appetite suppressing that are very effective for people who have type 2 diabetes and who have got problems with managing blood sugar control. There's a place for everything. But if we can really get down to the cellular level and we can work literally from the inside out, I truly believe that we will need those kind of therapies less. And for that reason, I'm really excited to have Sheli on the call. She has a background like me with a Bachelor of Science. We both did physiology. She did neuroscience as well, which, wow, if I'd had that opportunity, I probably also would have done it. I'm fascinated with that. And she studied at UCT, and she was always interested in Chinese medicine. In fact, acupuncture is what she really wanted to study, but there was an avenue that was just not open, completely open to her for that. But as things happen in life, if something is meant to be, it's meant to be. And she was able to come across another traditional Chinese healing modality in Qigong. So Sheli, thank you so much for giving of your time, for also being able to accommodate me with, you know, all the classes that I've been practicing this week. And you've been so supportive and encouraging and telling me what to do and what, you know, how to go about things. So welcome. And I look forward to a really wonderful evening with you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited about tonight. And just thank you as well. I love your approach. And I think this is a great shidduch. So great.
Wonderful. Good. Okay. So I'm going to ask a few questions so that everyone can understand. I've already asked you the questions, but I want everyone else to just hear from you. Let's start with, I know, how long ago did you make aliyah? How long ago did you come to Israel?
6.5 years ago.
Okay, so 6.5 years ago, in that period of time, when you made aliyah, what was your health status like?
So when I first arrived in Israel, I considered myself pretty healthy. I was diagnosed with lupus when I was 5 years old, and I was quite sick when I was little. I remember not being a happy kid, but with my mom's help, she's an acupuncturist, and she took me to a wonderful homeopath who was a GP, and she got me into remission as a teen. And when I made aliyah, I also actually had osteoporosis, and I had epilepsy, and I used to get stomach ulcers. Used to get horrific migraines. I had an underactive thyroid, and I also actually used to get a lot of kidney and bladder infections, and I considered myself healthy. So yeah, so I came to Israel with all of those in the suitcase as well.
So the osteoporosis you'd already had in South Africa before you came?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the osteo diagnosed in my 30s, the epilepsy late 20s, and pretty much everything else in my 30s came along.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you made aliyah thinking you were really healthy, and then what happened?
So, well, first of all, I got a cold, and my blood tests were actually good at that stage. And I went to a GP and I said, I need an antibiotic, please. And he refused to give me one. And I basically had a cold, and I said, I have an autoimmune disease, you have to. And he's like, no, the standard of care is we don't do that here. Fine. I had a cold that I could not get rid of for 4 months, and I managed to change a few times. Finally, landed up with a lovely GP. And she said to me, you now have pneumonia. So I said, okay, fantastic. So she gave me the right thing and I got better. And then all of a sudden, I just started getting fevers with no reason. I wasn't sick. I would just get these crazy fevers. And I thought, this feels like when I was 5 years old and my lupus first started. And I fell the one day and I tripped over something, and I had a bruise from my knee all the way down to my ankle, and it wrapped around the front, like the whole sides of my legs, all the way to the back. So I went to her the next day, not about the bruise, but I went to her because I said to her, something's up with my lupus. This doesn't feel right, and this feels very familiar. And then and so she started saying, okay, go see a rheumatologist. And then I just said, oh, just by the way, just have a look at this bruise. And she said, oh, without question, you have to go see a rheum. So I did. And they tested everything, and my white blood cell count had dropped from 8 to 3. My platelets had more than halved. The other numbers were also very scary. I actually had a look at them today before the call just to get a sense of everything, and the numbers were mad. There's so many numbers on my blood test that were in the red. It was just like frightening. So anyway, so they wanted to put me on Plaquenil. And Plaquenil is something that turns off your immune system because your body with lupus attacks itself, and your blood cells and everything starts destroying itself. So I went back to my GP and I said, look, my mom and I managed to get me into remission through other through, you know, other mechanisms. I said, please, can I just look to see what I can find here? And if I don't find, I'll start the Plaquenil in 3 months, but you know, let's just see. And so I did actually find a very nice acupuncturist, because when I was at UCT, as Justine said, yes, I wanted to study acupuncture. And in a nutshell, basically, I was very lucky. I had the amazing gift of finding the most wonderful acupuncturist from Taiwan, who spoke very little English, but was very kind, very strong acupuncture. You had to really have a strong constitution to go there because the needles were long and very deep. But I knew that he was doing the right thing, because I'd always walk out feeling very, very different. And I used to say to him, who treats you? I don't understand. Who treats you? And he said, no, no, I do special exercises. So I was like, I wonder what these exercises are. So I started applying to acupuncture schools. And the long and the short of it is that the best school that I wanted to go to was in a very small town in the States with no Jews to be found, no kosher food. And I just thought, I just can't do this to myself. There's no ways. So that dream basically died. And I never felt right. My whole life, I always just felt like something was missing. So cut a long story very short, got sick. I found this woman here in B'nai Brak who did acupuncture. And she kind of helped me. Like, she gave me some Chinese herbs as well that helped to improve my numbers a little bit. And they got my numbers into like an acceptable level, but I still wasn't feeling good. I was actually feeling really, really bad. And then I thought, and then I'd also put on a lot of weight because of my thyroid. I'd put on 10 kilos, and I just thought, I'm not me. This is ridiculous. So I thought, I'm going to buy a book on Chinese medicine to see what it says about weight loss. And I'm reading this book, and it speaks about Qigong. And I'm like, the penny drops, everything started to fall into place. And that school in America, I remember them saying that they insisted that their students learn Qigong because it makes you a better acupuncturist.
Wow.
I remember thinking that's what my acupuncturist in South Africa did. And I was like, okay, I think it's too late for me, because my mom always explained, because my mom's a professor of physiotherapy and an acupuncturist. So there were lots of books about acupuncture around the house growing up. So my mom always explained that acupuncture was preventative medicine. And she always would explain, she had a patient today like that had depression, came in for a session, left feeling so much better. So I always got to hear these little stories. I always knew about this amazing healing power that it had, that Chinese medicine had. So I decided, okay, let's give it a try and let's see, because it's preventative medicine and I've already got all these things going on. Like, is it going to do anything? So I was hoping if I lose 2 kilos, I'll be delighted. And I just actually thought for the rest of it, I actually just thought it wasn't completely impossible. So I lost 10 kilos and it stayed off. And you know, diet-wise, people always say, okay, did you change your diet? So I was always very good with my diet. And I will say that it is very important to work with a dietitian, and because, you know, you can't do Qigong and eat junk food. That's not going to work at all. So it's very important to work with somebody like Justine that can guide you and can help you with the right type of recipes and, you know, things like that. And in fact, the food that you eat creates the environment that your organs are sitting in and that they're going to take their energy from to make the energy that's needed for the body. And an interesting thing that actually happened to me, my whole life, I was not a vegetable eater, not a fruit eater. And Bonnie knows me back from the UCT days at our Shabbos table, and she can vouch for that. And the most amazing thing started to happen was I started getting curious. I'll tell you why, because whenever I did eat these things as a kid, they just used to make me throw up. I could not, there were so many things I could not eat. I was the most vomity child you could possibly imagine. I was not a good person to know. Anyway, the long and the short of it was I started getting curious. What does an avocado pear taste like? What does a pineapple taste like? And then I started tasting things, and they tasted very different to what I remembered, like being forced to eat them as a child. As a child, they were not nice. Now I was having like a Gan Eden experience. They were sweet. They were amazing. That was like when I eat food now, I know that they talk about mindfulness with eating, and maybe that's just what happens from doing Qigong. It's like a bracha. Every bite tastes absolutely unbelievable, and you just enjoy your food. So I contacted this amazing acupuncturist in South Africa because I knew that if anybody would know the answer, it would be him. And I said to him, what's going on? And he said, when your immune system is weak, it protects you from eating things that you can't handle. So as a child, I couldn't digest those things. And now, because of doing Qigong and how it's corrected everything in my body, now the immune system says, great, come on in. And I'm having a ball and I'm eating all sorts of different things. I mean, I've been eating zucchini, courgettes, that's what we call it, or baby marrow, that's the one.
Baby marrow in South Africa. No, every country has a different name for the same
Yeah.
vegetables. You have to know who you're speaking to.
And onions, can you believe onions? I mean, never, 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 never. I'm 48, and for the first time in my life, I'm eating onions, which is amazing. So yeah, that was one of the main things that changed for me.
So it's very interesting that you bring up the digestive side of things, because I work quite a lot with people who have digestive issues. And, you know, a lot of the women that I'm working with are, 40 and older. And as hormones change, so also our ability to digest certain foods because of changes in hormone balance. And I've even found for myself, like there's certain foods that I absolutely love, but I know that they don't love me, that kind of feeling. Like I know it's good for me and I want to have it, or I know that I can only have a certain amount. So a lot of the people that I'm also working with, sometimes I have to put them on a low FODMAP diet in order to remove certain foods, in order to see what is triggering symptoms from a digestive point of view. So I'm curious to hear from you with Qigong. First of all, how long did it take for you? I want to hear like how long ago you started doing it. I have a lot of questions about this. How often you are doing it even now, how long before you started seeing the results. Like you speak about losing 10 kilos of weight, and I think definitely it sounds to me like it was a complement with foods that you were eating, as well as the Qigong, and really balancing what was going on in your body. But for somebody who has digestive issues, who wants to be able to eat a better array of foods, what kind of a time frame are we speaking about here? There must be some kind of a commitment to it. You can't do it, once a week and see benefit, or maybe you can. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, my blood sugar was actually also extremely high when I got sick. And I saw that and I was worried, because I remember when my thyroid happened, the doctors in South Africa said to me, your lupus attacked your thyroid. And so because of this, because of the lupus, you're actually predisposed to other autoimmune diseases. So I said to them, okay, like which ones? And they were like, we're not going to tell you, we don't want to worry you. But I did some Googling, and like diabetes was on the list, and things like that. And so when I got to Israel and things went wrong and I saw how high my blood sugar was, I was like, that's not good, because my body doesn't know what to do with carbs. So I very, very purposefully cut out sugar very, very strictly, and it didn't change. My blood sugar was still very high. So then I was like, okay, something's really, really wrong inside. So with the Qigong, okay, so when you start doing Qigong,
I'm going to stop you for 1 second, because Aura wrote in the chat, and she's quite right. If we can just give a definition of what Qigong is, and then so we jumped ahead. Thank you, Aura, for slowing us down, and then I'm going to get you to come back and answer the rest of that question.
Okay, so it's a part of traditional Chinese medicine, and there are 5 branches of Chinese medicine. So one is acupuncture, one is diet, one is massage, one is herbs, and then the other one is Qigong. And Qigong is a movement. It's a moving meditation where you stimulate the acupuncture points through movement. But it's not only just you do a culmination of different kinds of movements to activate energy inside the body. So you do a bit of stretch, you do breath work, you do mindfulness, you do meditation, and you do also exercise as well. So it's all of those things. And as you're doing it, you're stimulating all the different acupuncture points in the body. Okay, so getting back to the question, does that answer the question? Okay, great. So getting back to the original question. So when you do Qigong, the nice thing is you actually always feel very different afterwards. You feel nice and relaxed after the class. So in terms of like a small, in the short term, if you're feeling very stressed out, you can do a class, and afterwards you feel so much better. In terms of the weight, I just started, okay, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have a scale. So I got to see these weight changes, but every time I would have to go to the doctor and I'd be like, okay, let me jump on and see what's going on. But I noticed that my clothes started to change, and I have my fatter clothes and my smaller clothes. And I'm so happy to have been able to go back to my smaller clothes, which is really, really exciting. And my larger things are gone, which is great. Anyway, so I would say, how often was I doing it? I definitely didn't do it every day, but I definitely did it more during the week than not. As in, I probably did it about 4 to 5 times a week. And
how long every time?
Right. So probably, like, I would say maybe like it just depended, like half an hour, sometimes 12 minutes. Like sometimes I would do like a little 12-minute routine. Sometimes I would do an hour. It just really depended. But I've come up with a nice formula on my website. So what I've done is I've put together like different classes. I've got 20-minute classes for busy people, 30-minute classes for people that want to take a bit longer, and then I've got an hour class. And you'll see on the website, you can go and have a look at how that works. And I would recommend that if you want to get the minimum benefit, the absolute bare minimum, I would say do Qigong 4 times a week, just the 20-minute sessions. So it works out to about 80 minutes a week. So like every second day. And I'll tell you a nice way to do it. I wake up, I go to the bathroom, do all that stuff, clean the teeth, quickly just eat something. I'm still in my pajamas, and I'll go and I'll do a routine. And I do it like that. And then I go and shower and do all the rest. So just do it first, like eating breakfast, because that's what qi is. Qi actually means energy. And in the same way that food is energy, in the same way that sleep is energy, Qigong also gives the body a different kind of energy. And what the energy actually is that our bodies are actually, we've got this meridian system that travels through the body, and everything in the body is electrical. Justine will understand, and all the other medical people in the group, the body is first electrical before it is chemical. So the body needs electricity in the body to be able to produce whatever it wants to produce. So this electricity in the body is what Qigong works with. So Qi means electricity and Gong means skill. So we become skillful at working with this electricity, and it powers up your thinking, your digestion, your heartbeat, your lungs, the strength of your muscles. It powers up absolutely every system. And that's why it is that we can do this one thing and affect the whole body.
So when you speak about electricity, like for me, I also think that, you know, and especially I think of neurons, like our brain being able to fire. And I think what so often happens is in our stress state, like brain fog is something that a lot of us experience. And I'm wondering, is that like more of a stuck energy, stuck electrical charge in the body, that it's not allowing that current enough to flow? Does that make sense?
Great question. Okay. So I just want to go back to one interesting thing that you said. It made me think of it, and then I'm going to answer your question now. So Mary Shelley wrote that book, Frankenstein. I read it. And when she brought her creature to life, she put her creature in amniotic fluid. She put acupuncture needles into it, and she used a bolt of lightning.
Wow.
Which I thought was very interesting because it's written either the late 17 or the late 1800s. I do not know. But I thought that was very interesting for the time, and so quite insightful. Okay, so the spleen. So in Chinese medicine, the way that they look at it, the way they understand that every organ has a sphere of influence in the body. So the spleen in Chinese medicine affects the digestive system, and affects your thinking, and it affects the strength of your muscles. And the spleen's energy helps to hold things together in the body. So the spleen also makes a lot of mucus, which we see, like if we eat something very dairy, the next day we're very mucusy, because they understand that the spleen manufactures mucus, but then the lungs store it. So as you strengthen the energy of the spleen, it affects your whole digestive system. You find that you're not bloated after you eat. You find you're able to eat things that before you weren't able to eat so much, and your thinking improves. Your mind becomes clearer. Like you do a routine and you feel nice, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up the next morning and you're like, wow, like you hear the birdies chirping, and you even wake up before your alarm. It's like a little cartoon kind of thing going on, and it just feels lovely. You know what? I've never woken up excited in my life before, and you just wake up in the morning and you're just ready to go, and it's wonderful.
You make it sound like it's too good to be true. And I actually want to go straight to the demonstration so everyone can understand and experience it. The one thing that you messaged me yesterday about, and I just want everyone to understand that even if you can't do a full class, even if you have to stop halfway, you don't lose any benefit. So I'm like, if I don't finish something, how can I start it? And it's sometimes difficult even for me to find 20 minutes in a day. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just the pace of life. And I love the fact that you said to me, even if you don't finish it, you can do 5 minutes here, another 5 minutes somewhere else. And I really love that because it makes it accessible. We have the ability then to fit it into our lives. I see a few questions in the chat. I just wanted to see, Gail said that it reminded her of Nia dancing. I know actually somebody here in Israel who does it as well. Is it similar to Nia? Is it a similar kind of a concept?
I haven't actually seen it, but what I do know about Qigong is it's 4,000 years old, and it's actually the practice that has led to most practices today, a lot of the somatic practices. So for example, like Tai Chi is 800 years old, and Qigong gave birth to Tai Chi. The difference is Tai Chi is actually not for healing. What happened was the Chinese government actually suppressed Qigong because they only wanted to keep it for the emperors to use to heal themselves, because they understood that it had so much power, and they didn't want people to be empowered. They wanted to keep them down. And so then what happened was people started, only 800 years ago, they started taking the Qigong movements and they started putting them together in a whole long sequence. And that is what is Tai Chi. In Qigong, we tend to repeat the movements. And in that way, we really strengthen the flow of energy in a system. And Tai Chi does not actually offer any healing, but the Chinese government were happy for people to think that it did, because they didn't want people to be able to self-heal. And so a lot of the practices, breath work, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things actually come from Qigong. So this that you're going to see is the original exercise, which is really exciting.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think let's do it, and then we're going to come back to questions at the end.
And
So
I just want to say
yes.
one thing just to support what you said. I had a lady in South Africa who has lupus and an adrenal tumor on her adrenals, and she has very, very high cortisol levels. She was at work and she was doing one of the meditations, and she was stop, start as her boss kept on coming in and out of the room. And she said her hands are always like this because her cortisol levels are so high. And she said the moment she started the meditation, her hands just relaxed.
Wow.
And she said she slept so nicely that night, and she's not a sleeper. And so there you go. So stop, start works. All right, so guys, ready?
Right.
Okay, I am so excited to be able to share some beautiful Qigong with you. So just a few pointers before I get started. I'm not going to spend too much time on explaining things. I want to just give you a taste of Qigong. I just want to give you a little bit of a feeling for it. If you'd like to do some more free classes, you're very welcome to register on my website. I've got a 2-week free trial that you can do each class as many times as you like and at any time that you like. Okay, all right, so let us begin. So when we stand in Qigong, we're just going to stand with our feet facing forwards. You're going to stand with your knees not locked, not bent, just stand normally, just stand, okay? So knees nice and soft, not locked, not bent, good. All right, let's knock on the chest like this. And I want you to breathe in through your nose, and I want you to do sigh breath out the mouth like this. Breathing in. And again. One more breath. Good. All right. Very nice. So just a nice movement just to activate a little bit of energy inside the body. All right. Now we're going to do a stretch. And when we stretch in Qigong, we don't stretch the muscles. We stretch the meridian lines, which when we help to do that, it helps to bring more electricity through the system so that the system can function correctly. And it also helps to relax the muscles around the meridians. So in Qigong, we work on the body from the inside out. So bring your hands behind your back like this. Take them up as high as comfortable for you. So if you can come up, if that's no good, if you've got pain, you can come down, or you can even be like this, all right? So please be what's good for you. Relax the shoulders. And now I want you just to do a nice circle of your neck. So everything is soft and relaxed. Take the head up. At the top, don't go back. Just bring the head over at the top like this, and now blow out to the ground as you go down. So breathing in, relax your shoulders. Just feel like the hands are velcroed together. Now feel into the movement of the neck. Feel the neck coming up, going down. Follow the neck with your mind. Feel it coming up. Keep blowing out through the mouth as you look down. Breathing in. Change directions, coming up. Breathing in. Coming up. Follow the movement of the neck. Feel the head coming up, going over the top, and coming down and blow out. Feel the head come up, over the top, coming down, blowing out. One more time. Good. All right. Very, very nice. Okay, let's shake out the arms a little bit. Okay, I want to help you warm up the legs a little bit more. So this is a lovely movement called the tiger. So I want you to do this at your own pace. So let me show you the full movement. Take the palms facing up like this. Come in front of you. Turn your palms facing forwards. Then you're going to bend your knees and you're going to dip down into the earth. And then you're going to come up again. If you can't go down all the way, it's fine. Just go down to here and coming up. So let's do it together and we're going to do sigh breath. So like this. Coming up. Sink the hips. Keep your bodies upright. So watch my head. I'm staying up and I'm just dipping my hips down. But remember, you don't need to go down all the way. So breathing in, coming up. Relax your muscles. Everything is soft. I want you just to feel into the bones. Feel the bones moving down. Floating up. Feel your body rising up. Palms facing forwards as you descend. Sigh breath. Relax the arms, relax the shoulders. Just lead with your bones. As you come up, feel like a lovely puppet, strings attached, pulling your hands up to the sky. Last one. And come up. Very nice. So when we do Qigong, we do lots of different types of exercises. We do a little bit of stretch to work on the meridian lines, to help them widen and dilate. Because most of the time, our bodies, the muscles are very squashed down and they squeeze down on the meridian lines and then there's no electricity flowing. And this actually causes two problems for us. Number one, it's a complete waste of energy. So sometimes we feel like we have no energy, but we've got lots of energy. You feel the muscles in the neck and they're all tight and tense. That's where your energy is going. It takes a lot of energy to hold muscles in a spasm. And so then the other thing that we do is when we dilate the when we dilate the meridian, more electricity flows through, the muscles relax, and then all of the organs that need to receive that energy begin to function better and your health improves. So just through doing Qigong and getting stress out the body, immediately your health improves. All right, I would like to challenge you now. I want to show you a little bit of a more complicated movement. It's a beautiful movement. Please do this at your own pace. So bring your hands together like this and just soft and light on your feet. Just bring your weight into your heels. So kind of tip a little bit back. I don't want you to feel like you're falling back. None of that over here. Just bring your awareness into your heels. And when you do that, you'll notice your weight goes there. Feel nice and loose in the hips, nice and available. Let's breathe in first. Let's do a little bit of breath work. So let's breathe in and open up. And then palms touch. and look down to the ground just a little bit. So this movement, I want you to feel like you're coming into the front of your chest and then breathing out. So breathing in, fill up the front of your body. You're not stressing the arms. I just want you to feel into your chest and then exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Synchronize the breath with the movement. So breathing in and breathing out, looking a little bit down. Breathing in, opening up and bringing the hands back, palms touch. As you exhale, inhale, and now exhale. All right, here comes the little bit of the challenging side. Sink down, just comfortably, just a little bit comfortably to what's good for you. If you want less exercise, have the legs a little bit closer together. If you want more exercise, take the legs a little bit apart. Now what I want you to do is I want you to shift your weight to the right. Right knee bent, left leg straight. Take your right hand out to the right hand side. Both hands go to the sides. Look at my fingers. They're not there, they're not there. They're pointing dead up to the sky. And then you're going to come back to the middle and sink down into the earth. Now slowly move across to the other side and keep your fingers pointing up to the sky. And you're going to turn your head to the front and look over your right shoulder. Now sink down into the earth and moving across and look with your head in the opposite direction. So you're looking away from your hands in front of you. Coming down. Let's go over to the other side and sink down to the ground. All right. Now what I want you to do is we're going to move upwards, but you're going to move, so you're going to swim upwards with your hands, but you're not going to move your hands at all. You're only going to move your spine. So let's move together. So lift up the left shoulder. Now lift up, the left elbow. So now lift up the left elbow, and now very slowly lift up the right elbow. So feel left elbow go up. And can you feel how you're making beautiful space along the sides of the ribs? This is a more complicated movement. I've got lots of different types of movements on my website, on Daily Cup of Qi. So there's all sorts of styles. So feel like you're growing taller. This is like a blade of grass growing up through the cement and bursting through. So take your hands a little bit higher and a little bit higher and higher, and growing up, and take the hands all the way up to the sky, all the way. Keep moving the spine. Can you feel how you're opening up the spine? Take the hands up, and now let's swim back down. So swim back down. This is advanced, so don't worry, but it's a beautiful movement. Go slowly. Feel the opening in the space between the ribs and the hips. Last one, and let's come back. Stand up tall, bring the hands down to the sides. Close your eyes and just feel for a moment. Notice how your body feels. Does it feel a bit hot and warm? Yes, and that's good. When we get the blood to pump, blood is actually a form of qi. It's a form of energy, and we want to keep blood circulating. When blood gets stuck in the body, that's what we feel as pain. So we want to prevent pain. And did you know that the functional age of people that practice Qigong is 12 years younger than their biological age? Meaning that if a person's body is 50 years old, it will have the health and physiology of a 38-year-old. So we improve the health of the body. And we prevent illness from occurring. And that's how it's practiced by people that understand what Qigong is really all about. They do it to prevent illness in the same way that you would take vitamins or eat healthily to prevent illness or go to gym, Qigong is done in the same way. All right, now we're going to do one final activation. You're going to bounce, feet are flat on the ground, you're going to shake your wrists, and now we're going to do a special vibration with our voice to vibrate every single meridian line. So the first sound is a Z sound, so breathing in, listen to the sounds. The next sound, chri, breathing in, chri. The next sound, shu, breathing in, shu. The next sound, ha, ha. The next sound, hu, and the last sound, he, breathing in, big sound, he. Come to a stop, close your eyes, and feel into your body. Do you notice that you can feel a little bit of buzzing and tingling in your hands? This is your qi. This is the electrical force inside your body that powers up every single process. It powers up your thinking, your digestion, the strength of your muscles, your ability to absorb nourishment from the food you eat. It balances blood sugar, helps with weight management. Every single process, it's the energy that makes the heart beat. It's the energy of your lungs. All right, now check that your toes are forwards. Please close your mouth going forward. All the breathing now is through the nose. All right, so mouth is closed, nose is open. All right, let's float the hands up, palms facing forwards, and float the hands down. Synchronize your breath with the movement. Now follow your hands up, and breathing out, follow the hands down. When you move, I want you just to bring your awareness into the bones of your arms and your hands, and just lead with your bones. So soften your neck. Feel your neck melting like ice to water. Just shine your awareness like sunlight into your shoulders, and feel any tension in your shoulders and your shoulder blades melting like ice to water. And just soften your body, soften your hips, soften your knees. So breathing in as the hands come up, and breathing out as the hands go down. Breathing in, and breathing out. I want you to think of your hands going up and down like the waves on the seashore on the beach. So as the hands float up, think of the waves coming in towards you. As the hands float down, think of the waves as retreating back into the ocean. So waves coming in, and breathing out, the waves go out. Now when the waves come in, there's always a lull in the tide. So we're going to incorporate that lull with a pause in the breath, like this. So breathing out, pause your breath. Breathing in, float the hands up. Pause your breath and pause the movement at the top.
Now exhale down. Pause your breath. Pause the movement. Breathing in. Pause. And breathing out. Pause. Anytime you feel your mind wandering, just bring yourself back into the moment by following your body's movement. Breathe in, follow the hands up through the air. Breathing out, hands come down. Breathing in, pause, and breathing out. Pause. Soften your shoulders, float the arms up, and float the hands down. Breathing in, and breathing out. One more time, floating up. Pause your breath, and breathing out. Let your hands fall by your sides. You can walk your feet in a little bit or just stand, however is comfortable for you. Keep your eyes closed and just notice how your body feels. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Well done. How was that for you? Yeah, it was good? Fantastic. Well done. So proud of you. There you go. You just experienced some lovely qi. And this is an energy that heals in the body. Just know your body's got wonderful intelligence, and sometimes it's trying to heal you, but it doesn't have enough electricity to complete the action that it's trying to do. And that's when we experience the symptoms of things, mucus, allergies, weight gain, inability to gain weight, whatever it may be, thyroid, you name it. It's just the body saying, I've got a little bit of energy to do what I need to do to start, but I don't have enough to finish. Please elevate my energy to help me finish, and then your body will move everything out in a way that you don't even notice. That your life will just be seamless, effortless, easy, and none of these things will bother you anymore. All right. Well done.
Thank you, Sheli. Wow. Thanks everyone for putting their cameras back on. I saw some of you doing your lovely movements yourself, and I also did as well. I love the feeling of the energy in my hands. I'd love to hear from everybody. Were there any sensations you could feel in your body? Were there any moves that you found you weren't so sure about? I know one of the questions earlier, Sheli, was, how do you know that you're doing the right movements? How do you know, if your form isn't correct? Could you be making a mistake with anything? I'm sure those are common questions that you get. Perhaps you can just address those.
So you can always book a session with me online, and I can always, you can just show me what you're doing and I can always check you. But the movements are very simple. I mean, they're simple movements and they're complicated movements. And I've created a system where I go through step by step to teach you everything that you need. So you can't really go horribly wrong. You really, really can't.
Thank you for that. So thank you, Shulamis. It's nice to have you on the call. She said she felt invigorated at first and now she feels tired. Is that normal?
Yeah, sometimes it can be, because what happens is when you elevate the energy in the body the first time you do Qigong, then the body decides to clean house. Like the cell's like, oh, I've got this extra energy that's sitting there, that's been sitting there for years. I'm going to push it out. And so sometimes the body can get tired afterwards when it goes into healing.
Okay, so that's a very important point. So I think if you do, if you're expecting to feel energized, but then you feel more tired, don't worry about that. I think that's an important point. And maybe you can clarify a little bit more about, if you feel pain afterwards, should you be worried about that?
Okay, yes. And in fact, so you know what, always listen to your body. If you do feel a little bit tired after a class, go have a little lie down, and you'll see that you'll wake up and you'll feel really nice and clear. And sometimes we actually do get a little bit of discomfort when we get Qigong, because we're actually generating a lot of electricity. And I didn't really show it to you that much in this class because it is an alchemy. So you can go onto my website and you can do some more routines, and you can really start to feel lovely electricity between your hands. And that electricity actually has the power to restructure the cells. And that's the reason why these recoveries happen, because the cells actually start to function differently because they get restructured. So it's like having surgery from the inside. So sometimes you can feel like a little bit of burning or a little bit of discomfort. You just listen to your body. You can always modify the movements for you. You can always do them seated, but it's never anything like really like extreme or anything like that.
Thank you. So then Gail asked, she wants to know if you have a regular practice of Qigong, are you still doing acupuncture?
No, I actually am not, but I'll tell you why. I haven't found an acupuncturist in Israel that I like. That's the truth of it. But if there was one that was as good as this amazing human being that I used to go to in Cape Town, I would just go like maybe once a month. So no, I don't do it anymore.
Okay. And then Ruth said she's wondering if it should be done on an empty stomach.
No, I think eat just a little bit of something, because you need a bit of energy you're working with energy, and you need to actually put some energy into the system first.
But maybe not a big meal then.
Yeah, I wouldn't go do a big meal and then like not take like a Shabbos meal and then oops, let's not that you're going to do like Qigong and Shabbat, but like just I wake up, I just eat something, I just my breakfast is ready and waiting, and I just have something, and then I eat the rest of it afterwards. So just get yourself not hungry.
Perfect. I'm loving all the questions. Please, if there are any others, please write them. Leia's asking, is there any person who should not be doing Qigong?
No, everybody can do Qigong, and the reason is that Qigong works with the electricity that makes everything in your body happen. So it's working with the body, the way your body works. There are like certain routines that people like that have like mania and things like that shouldn't do, but I do guide that on my website. It's very far and few between, so it's absolutely fine. And in fact, I actually had a lady that I started working with about 2 weeks ago, and she's got a lot of mania and she can't sleep. And she sent me a message just saying she felt so nice and like she had come down afterwards doing her first routine. And that was really quite an amazing result to get just after one routine.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to think if there are any other important questions that I had for you. I think we've covered so much. Is there anything that you've written down that you wanted to discuss?
So cravings, a big one, because that's something that people really struggle with. And so what's happened for me, like with cravings, what I love about doing Qigong is it helps your body be able to listen to your body. So our organs are actually giving us signals all the time. Like I've had enough to eat, or I'm craving this particular flavor. I'll just, as a side, there's an interesting issue in Chinese medicine. When the spleen isn't working properly, one of the symptoms is people will crave something. They'll stand at the fridge. I don't know what I feel like. I just don't know what I feel like. There's not enough electricity to tell you what it feels like. The message can't get through. So what starts to happen with Qigong is once you correct that, and then you start to know exactly what you feel like, once you've had it, you've had enough. Like if I get a craving for sweet, I'll go and have some fruit and I'm done. Like before, I would get a craving for chocolate, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to try and be good. I'm going to go have an apple. I'd have my apple. No good. I'm like, got to eat the chocolate, and you eat it, and you're not so happy with yourself. So one of the most beautiful things for me that's happened with Qigong is that, and my clients tell me the same, is what's amazing is they'll get a craving for something, they'll have it, and their craving is very easily satisfied. And also with that, you start to recognize when you're full. So you're sitting at a Shabbos table, there can be the most amazing, yummy dessert at the table. It doesn't speak to you, doesn't call your name, it doesn't tease you. It's on the table, you've had enough, and you're just not interested in it anymore. And that's power. That's really power.
So there's another question that Leia's put in about like what complementary diet should be done with it. Microbiotic diet, a keto diet, do they work with Qigong? I have my own opinions about those kind of things, and I'm happy to address it from a nutrition point of view, but I'd just like to hear from your perspective.
So Chinese medicine does have a few things that they prescribe. They just stay away from extremes. So like, you know, in summer, you're not going to go drink tons and tons of hot tea and drink lots of hot, spicy foods. And in winter, you're not going to start eating freezing cold foods. You're not going to like drink lots of ice in your water or, you know, things like that. So I think like the best thing is just honestly is to work with somebody like Justine. I can see she's got a really good head on her shoulders and she knows what she's talking about. So, you know, just the biggest thing is Qigong wakes up the messages inside your body. Your body will tell you exactly what you need, and you'll feel like, okay, I feel like I'm craving a little bit of salty right now. I'll tell you what the organs are. The lungs crave like a pungent kind of flavor to balance themselves. So your body uses the different flavors to balance themselves. So lungs use pungent. Kidneys use salty, as in fish, like that kind of sea salty flavor. Then the liver likes sour, like a Granny Smith apple. The heart likes bitter, so like rocket. And then the spleen likes sweet, as in like sweet potato. And in the old Sheli would have said like salt and vinegar chips, and chocolate, like, you know, Cadbury's mint. And those things are not even they don't even entice me anymore. So you really just become tuned into exactly what you need. And it just becomes a lovely, peaceful way of existing with yourself and feeling so comfortable in your body, which is really great.
Amazing. I'm all for that. I feel it's so incredibly important that no matter what we are doing, we establish that balance, that peace within us, with our thoughts, with everything in life, and with the foods that we're choosing to eat. And even if you are going to eat the chocolate, to not feel bad about it. I'm a strong proponent of, first of all, I love my chocolate, and I would be very sad if anyone had to ever tell me, which when I was a teenager, of course, a dietitian or a nutritionist told me not to eat chocolate. I still feel that it's so important to be able to eat it, and it's how you eat it and the quantities that you have it and why you are eating it. So there's the Qigong side to it, and then there's also the nutrition and mindset component that we can blend all of that together. There was one other question a little bit earlier on that I just want to go back to before we end, and that was Gail had put in, sorry, let me just jump back. She wanted to know what causes qi to be blocked. So her question exactly was, if movement brings qi, what causes qi to be blocked?
That's an amazing question. Thank you, Gail. You know, it can be so many things. Stress, you could even have an injury in an area, and you can change the mechanics of the area. There's numerous things that can affect it. It's emotional. It can also even be something that you eat. You could actually eat something that causes a horrible imbalance in your system. You can be eating foods that are also affecting how your organs function. Like you can be overwhelming your certain organs. Like you can overwhelm the spleen with, let's just say, too much dairy or whatever it might be, and then the qi is definitely going to get blocked, and then it'll pile up and pile up and pile up. And qi isn't only just electricity. Qi is also blood. Qi is also air. Qi is also the different types of food. So all types of different things can actually get stuck in the system along the way.
I think something that's very interesting is I've been doing a little bit more work with also nutrigenomics. And in fact, I interviewed a dietitian friend of mine last year. She specializes in it. And I had my own DNA test done to see exactly like which pathways in my body could be affected. And I've started taking a supplement on her recommendation, and it's amazing the difference in I've got high cholesterol as a familial, unfortunately, from my dad's side and my mom's side, and I could never get my cholesterol below a certain amount, no matter how well I ate or exercised. And from the recommendations that she's told me, and I probably eat more red meat now than I ever did before, which, you know, we always used to say, don't eat red meat, don't have too many eggs. As a woman in midlife, I need that protein. It's like I feel like I need the iron from all of that. And my cholesterol has never been this low, and also like all the different values. So I think there's such a combination of everything together. I think when you can get into the cellular system of the body, I think that's the message really that we're trying to bring home to everyone today. When you can get your cells to work in a way that they are meant to be working, that whatever energy you are giving them from nutrition and from stimulating it from Qigong is really directing your body to work as optimally as possible, then you are avoiding diseases and your body is literally cleaning itself from the inside out. And I think that is so incredibly important. I also believe, and this is something that is a message that I always give my clients, is that we live in a world where we try so hard to do so many different things. And I encourage each of you walking away from today to take one small thing that you can take on, to look at improving your life in one small way, whether it's by implementing Qi Gong, and I encourage you to go onto Sheli's website. I will also in my follow-up email put her email and website in there so that you can go and have a look at that. Sheli, maybe just put your email and your website address in the chat so everybody can take that down as well. Take one small thing. Don't try and overwhelm yourselves, because I think when we feel overwhelmed and something that we know should be positive for us is stressing us out, then of course it's going to do the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. So whether it's with nutrition, whether it's with habits, whether it's with trying something new like Qigong, really be kind and compassionate with yourself and approach it in the most balanced way possible, because then you will really reap the rewards and the benefits from it. So Sheli, thank you. She's also has got a free 2-week trial on the website with Qigong. I encourage each of you to go and take a look. I've really benefited from it this week.
I just want to end up with 2 things. Gail, just to answer your question a little bit better, stress is also something that actually causes Qi to horribly get stuck. And what I alluded to in my video was that when we get very, very stressed, the muscles become overly contracted, and that's what constricts the meridian lines. And very interestingly enough, the meridians that go through the neck, stomach in the front, large intestine in the sides, and small intestine in the back. Where do we hold our stress? Like this. And you can see how that affects the digestive system when you look at it in that way. And then Justine, I'll tell you something very interesting. So in Chinese medicine, you can also look at inheritance of like, where does your Qi come from? And you can change what you were given. And when I look at all the illnesses that I got, and I look at my wonderful parents, I got a lot of it from them. And I have separated my genetics from them and actually changed a lot of things. So the beautiful thing with Qigong is that even if you are born with, in your mind, really bad genetics, and that actually was my case, I have a lot of issues. I mean, I've got more things I didn't even tell you about. I'll tell you one thing very interesting. My mom's got some weird issue. She's got very lax joints. So like if you knock her spine will just go out like that. And I could see I had the same thing. Like if I lay on my back felt like it was lying on the floor. And I've always had like lots of joint pains and all sorts of things. And that's all gone away. I can lie on my back now and it's completely gone. So I've totally reversed that. And I actually had my epilepsy. My dad's got Parkinson's. And in Chinese medicine, any disorder of movement is an imbalance in liver energy. So that's from my dad. Don't have that anymore. So in Chinese medicine, you can be born with really not good quality Qi and a little bit of it, and you can work with that teeny weeny little bit, and you can improve the quality and live a beautiful, wonderful, healthy life.
Wow, thank you so much. I really thoroughly enjoyed having you on as a guest today. I appreciate your time and the effort that you put into the presentation that you created for us today. Thank you to everybody who joined us. Is there anybody who wants to open their mic and say anything, or ask a question or have a comment quickly before we end? Yes, I know my audience. All of the South Africans are very polite and don't, but I really thank you so much. Ruth, I see you've opened your microphone, please.
I just want to say thank you very much. This was great. And I love the 20-minute sample. I loved all of it. So thanks a lot, both of you.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. I am hosting many more free webinars, and I'm looking to bring very interesting speakers. The next on my agenda is a woman who deals with a lot of inner child work, and I am incredibly fascinated by that. She is a film director and a writer, and she created a movie after Corona where she said many people experience their inner child coming to visit, and how to be able to express that in a also a whole way and focus on healing, but without getting, she uses the word, what does she say? She said, not getting addicted to healing, like in a negative light. So please God, in June, I will be bringing her and many more. So thank you all for joining. I'll be sharing also the recording of today and future speakers that will come into your inbox as well.
Thanks. It was really, really terrific, I have to say.
Thank you.
Also, I just want to say one thing, that you could have explained the experience with as many words as you, but having us do it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
Glad you said that, because I was actually just thinking to myself, I hope everybody's doing it, because you can watch this and walk away and think like, oh, what the hell? But you actually, it's something you have to feel. You can't watch
The
it.
physical experience is key.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think
Yeah,
it's
I
really
agree.
generous of you to offer 2 weeks free to try out your thing. So thank you. It's really, really nice. Appreciate it.
So,
Right.
Thank you so much.
Everybody for joining us. My
Thanks so
pleasure,
much.
and sending you all best wishes for Shabbat Shalom and lots of healing and peace for all of us.
Amen. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
take care, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye.